I'm not too sure how long this one will be, but this ASMR reading is on Hubcaps, kind of as like a joke-ish, given that I had mine stolen on Sunday, so yesterday at this point. That's kind of a different story on its own. It's honestly pretty funny in my opinion. So I'm just reading the Wikipedia article for hubcaps on a motor vehicle. Or not even just a motor vehicle. A hubcap, or hubcap, is a decorative disc on an automotive wheel that covers a minimum of the center portion of the wheel, called the hub. An automobile hubcap is used to cover the wheel hub and the wheel fasteners to reduce the accumulation of dirt and moisture. It is also the function of decorating the car. A hubcap is technically a small cover over the center of the wheel, while a wheel cover is a decorative metal or plastic disc that snaps or bolts to the cover, bolts onto and covers the center face of the wheel. Cars with stamped steel wheels often use full wheel covers that conceal the entire wheel. Cars with alloy wheels or styled steel wheels generally use smaller hubcaps. Sometimes they are called center caps. Alternatively, a wheel cover or spare tire cover can be used as an accessory that covers an entire or external rear-mounted spare tire found on some automobiles. There's then two images on the side. One is a threaded brass hubcap on a cartwheel with a artillery style hub. Various automobile hubcaps. History. Hubcaps were first used in the Newton relic carriage in 1680. The first hubcaps were more commonly used. More commonly known as dust or grease caps. I'm gonna also, just because I've realized I forgot to disable my Steam recording, and this might be tanking my frame rate, so let me just fix that really quick. There it is. So these caps were threaded onto the center of a hub on wood, steel, or wire wheel. These were made from the beginning of the car manufacturing to 1932. Pre-1915 hubcaps were all mostly made of brass that were nickel-plated. The 1920s hubcaps were mostly aluminum. Grease caps of the wire wheel brands such as Hulk, Hayes, Freyer, Dayton, Buffalo, House, Fleps, Pasco, Rudge, Whitworth, Budd, and Stewart are some of the hardest to find. When a customer went to buy the wire wheels, they made the make of the vehicle would be stamped in the center. I just need to drink something really quick. During 1927 and 1928, the first snap-on center caps were made on the wire wheels. After 1932, almost every car had a snap-on style center cap on the middle of the wheel, wire, steel, or wood wheels. Wire wheel center caps in the 1930s had a spring-loaded retention clip system that has been used on many hubcaps and center caps in every single style of car and truck to the present day. Display of 1920s automobile hubcaps and a removal tool. Steel wheels in the 1930s had a retention clip mounted to the wheel that snapped into the lip on the back of the cap. Wood wheels were a special option. The caps on these had a large chrome base that mushroomed up to another smaller chrome base that would have the emblem on the face. The stem up to the second base was usually painted black to make it look as if the top base was floating. These caps were usually made of brass, steel, or aluminum. During the mid-1930s, the first full wheel covers were introduced to fit over the entire wheel Hudson were the early adopters. Cord made a plain chrome wheel cover that had a smooth top and holes in the side. The Hudson wheel cover was a flat with a lip halfway in the middle of the center that would say Hudson, Hudson 8, or Terraplane. This configuration differs from the knockoff spinners found on some racing cars and cars equipped with true wire wheels. While knockoff spinner resembles an early hubcap, its threads also retain the wheel itself in lieu of lug nuts. When pressed steel wheels became common by the 1940s, they were often painted the same color as the car body. Hubcaps expanded in size to cover the lug nuts that were used to mount the steel wheels. They were then served to protect the lug nuts or wheel bolts from rust and corrosion that would make them hard to remove when it was necessary to change the wheel to repair a tire. An option on some cars now was a chrome-plated trim ring that clipped onto the outer rim of the wheel. In addition to the center hubcap, the full wheel cover became popular that covered the entire wheel. These became increasingly decorative in style, or typically made from chrome-plated or stainless steel. Basic automobiles came standard with a simple, unadorned, and inexpensive hubcap called poverty cap or dog dish caps due to their size and shape. Various optional full wheel covers of various designs were optional or were standard equipment during the higher trim models. Metal hubcaps also offer an audible warning should a wheel not work its way off. During the 1960s and 1970s, automakers also offered stainless steel spoke wheel full covers that simulated the look of a traditional and more costly wire spoke wheel. Specifically speaking, or specialty wheels of magnesium or aluminum alloy had come onto the market, and wheel covers were a cheap means of intimidating their style. Plastic wheel covers, known in the UK as wheel trims, appeared in the 1970s and became the mainstream in the 1980s. The first domestic automobile to use a full plastic wheel cover was the Chevy Monza, which featured a wind blade design and came in several choice colors. The variety and number of hubcaps available as original equipment has increased. Plastic has now largely replaced steel as the primary material for manufacturing hubcaps and trims, and where steel wheels are still used, the wheels are now generally painted black so the wheel is less visible through the cutouts of the wheel trim. On modern automobiles, full-wheel hubcaps are most commonly seen on budget models and base trim levels, while upscale and performance-oriented models use alloy wheels. Even modern aluminum alloy wheels generally use a small removable center cap, similar in size to the earliest hubcaps. The variety of wheel trims on any particular car has expanded significantly. For example, a 2003 BMW Z3 had 23 different wheel options. There's then 4 photos. Center small hubcap of the automaker's logo. Dog dish cap on a painted steel wheel. Stainless steel wheel cover. Simulated wire wheel cover with spinner ornament. Characteristics and design. Often a hubcap will bear the trademark or a symbol of the maker of the automobile or the maker of the hubcap. Early hubcaps were often chrome-plated and many had decorative non-functional spokes. Hubcaps were then immortalized in the Art Deco style nearing the top of the rung setbacks. Ornamental Fies Frenzy incorporates a brand of hubcaps on the Chrysler building in the middle town of Manhattan. Part of the lore of hubcaps is that on bad roads they had a tendency of falling off due to hitting a bump. Center caps, however, fall off less frequently than older full-wheel covers, which were often quite heavy. In some parts of the US and Mexico, there are automotive garages whose walls are decorated with various hubcaps that have fallen off in the vicinity. They were often for sale. This problem persists even with different retention systems that have been engineered. Hubcaps generally use either a clip-on retention, which some sort of spring, steel clip, or plastic clip in the case of plastic hubcaps, engages in a groove in the wheel, or bolt-on retention, or a threaded fastener retains the hubcap, or a plastic washer attached to the lug nut itself holds the hubcap on. Clip-on hubcaps tend to pop off suddenly when the wheel impacts a pothole or curbstone, while bolt-on hubcaps are more likely to vibrate loose over time and tend to rattle and squeak. To prevent loss, owners attach plastic wheel trims to the wheel itself using electrical zip tie, which are sold in silver colors for this purpose. A kit consisting of spare zip ties, a pair of cutting pliers, and latex gloves allow a trim truss secured to be easily removed in the event of a tire puncture. In the US, during the age of custom cars, early 1950s to 60s, decorating one's cars with wheel covers from another was common. Two very desirable wheel covers of those were the 1950 Cadillac called a sombrero, and that of the 1953 to 1955 Oldsmobile, which resembled a huge 3-tin spinner. Aftermarket suppliers included the Moon Eyes brand, named after the firm's found of Dean's Moon. Hubcaps and wheel covers were some of the first independently offered for the hot rods and custom cars. Hubcap Center in Texas. Plastic hubcap covering steel wheel bears the automaker's logo. A lost plastic wheel next to the road cable tie helped to prevent accidental damage, or detachment, I mean. Motorsport use. Another variant of wheel cover known as wheel shrouds, rim blanking, or turbofans is associated with the German wheelmaker brand BBS since the 1970s. These are attached to the wheel first, then bolted on as if the driver or mechanic is bolting the wheel to his car in the manner of changing their wheel. Commonly made from aluminum, they are designed to distribute airflow to the brakes, therefore generating downforce depending on the shape. Thus, these wheel covers are functional rather than merely decorative. From 2006, to get around via technical regulation that all wheels must be made from a homogeneous metal metallic. A carbon fiber variant found its way into Formula One when it was used on the Scuderia Ferrari, whom BBS supplied its wheels to. At the Turkish Grand Prix, the rear shrouds were also adopted by Toyota and Toro Rosso, and thus became widespread for all teams. Prior to being banned from the 1994 PPG IndyCar World Series, wheel shrouds were popular on superspeedways until Team Penske revealed that those covers could reduce drag by up to 2.5%. Another type of wheel cover, the static wheel fairing, was introduced by BBS for Ferrari at the British Grand Prix to act as a brake cooling aid for the front wheels while remaining stationary for the wheel itself, while one part being cut out at a 27-degree angle to enable hot air to escape, and thrust being adopted by every team. The wheel cover was banned from use in F1 in 2010 after incidents where they broke loose in races. To get around the ban, Furry used a detachable integral aero device made from the same magnesium material as the wheel itself, which consisted of double concuric rings of different diameters. As part of cars now have been homologated, its rivals were unable to copy this device. Its use became eliminated when FIA revised the regulation for 2011 season to prohibit wheel materials in certain exclusion zones. Non-rotating hubcaps. A non-rotating hubcap remains in the same orientation even when the vehicle is in motion. An example of this is the Rolls-Royce, whose hubcap center are weighed and mounted to revolve independently on the wheel rotation. The rest of the RR logo can be read while the vehicle is in motion. This design also allows for messages or advertising to be placed on the hubcap and can be read while the vehicle is moving. Non-rotating hubcaps with advertisements may be found on race cars, taxis, commercial vehicles, industrial machinery, buses and golf carts. Nav plate. A nav plate is a British name for a hubcap. Excuse me. These chromed discs were decorative embellishments on British cars, such as those made by Triumph. These plates can also cover the entire wheel. Nave plates were used in the 1920s and 1930s to cover wire wheels, which are lighter and truer running than more conventional pressed steel wheels, to make them appear modern and streamlined as well, to help make it easier to keep them clean. There's then a photo example of a nave plate beside that on a Triumph. Going back in the article, so context of what I was talking about with Sunday, essentially, I went to the store for like half an hour, and when I came out to my car half an hour later, because I have my winter tires on right now, I thought I walked out to the wrong vehicle, because I'm like, oh, this isn't my car, I have hubcaps on. It turned out that someone stole my hubcaps when I was in the store for like half an hour, which I always thought of like, yeah, like you can pop hubcaps on and off pretty easily. Like it does take some force, but not really much. You can just kind of pull and they come off. Unless you have ones that are part of the lug nuts. But like, I always found it kind of funny seeing like people that had a hubcap that had a zip tie on. I'm like, oh, are you scared of your hubcaps being stolen? Who's gonna steal a hubcap? Apparently it happens here, and I got to experience it. I don't know. I've already submitted a police report about it too, because the dude's visible in my dash cam video, but still, it's just like, what goes through your mind to be like, that hubcap is now mine? Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I'm not too concerned about not having those hubcaps anymore, but it's definitely been a funny thing to talk about, especially with it happening so recently. Hence the topic of this video, or the reading for this video. But yeah, that's the Wikipedia reading for this video. This world is the FurHub. Yeah, FurHub, the Furry Hub by Dr. 26. That's all I have to say for right now.